Well, Kim, thank you so much for being here with me on the Entrepreneurial Success Podcast. I mean, oh my gosh, you and I already had such a great conversation. I was just wiping some tears from my eyes from all the laughter. So, before we get started, why don't I hand over to you so you can introduce yourself to the audience and they can kind of see why you and I already had such a good chat?
Oh, Henriette, I am so excited about being here, and you have such a great laugh and smile. My name's Kim Hayden, and I am the founder and producer at the Resilient Series. The Resilient Series is a network of multimedia platforms to help people who are already on that path of absolute awesomeness and expertise to help them understand the navigation of how to get their message across,
Yeah.
how to get the masses behind them. And
Yeah.
that is what I do.
And I loved your story because when you and I got in touch and I saw your story, I thought, oh, this could be a good one. And even the topic today is going to be a little bit different. So the audience would absolutely love this. But before we dive into the topic, I want to ask you a little bit about your story. Share with us a little bit about what has been going on for you? What are some of the crazy things that you've been doing? And how did that kind of evolve to where you are now, bringing up the Resilience brand, basically?
Okay, so Cliff Notes. How do we make a Hallmark 5-part story into condensed 2-minute Cliff Notes? I am originally from Wichita, Kansas, the eldest of 4 girls. We grew up in a not a good home. And we ended up in very much an impoverished state. And I learned very early on, my mother would say, Kimberly Joe, poverty is a state of mind, not a state of economics. And God love her. That's something that I took very deep. When I was 20 years old, I had been married, divorced, had a child, and got my car and drove from Wichita, Kansas to Las Vegas because I needed medical insurance. Every developed country in the world has the privilege and just the amazing support of medical insurance aside from the United States. And I couldn't obtain medical insurance as an independent. Yes, everybody, if you have never met a hairdresser, high school dropout from a trailer park, single mom in Wichita, Kansas, or in Kansas, trailer park in Kansas, you have now. So, I went across and I picked up in the middle of the night and drove to Las Vegas, was there for 4 years. Just struggling and just trying to, work in graveyard shift. Had been burned out of my apartment, was living in my car. And these 3 men sat at my table, graveyard shift, drunk as a skunk, because it's Vegas, and proceeded to hit on me for one quiet friend. And I finally said, fine, I'll take a free dinner. And I'm just an absolute nightmare because I'm sleep deprived, homeless, and a single mom living in Vegas. And my husband and I met that night and got married just a few months later and have been together 27 years. So he brought me to Canada. And here in Canada, I have been gifted with the opportunity of being an entrepreneur instead of chronically unemployed. Because nobody's ever hiring me for anything because I'm just a little out there for people. So come to Canada, and I've had all these great opportunities. In 99, I became a real estate agent. And inside of 24 months, I went from new country, new community, no friends, no sphere, nothing. And when I say new community, when I started real estate, we had about 500 homes in our community. And now there's 5,000 in that doors, including condos and everything. And, my husband's expert advice was I wanted to open a coffee shop. He's like, do we really want to do that? Because I was not a good at-home mom. I'm telling you, everybody out there right now, hands up to all those at-home moms. I'm telling you, they are what keeps the world moving forward. God love them. It was a skill set I do not have. So I said, coffee shop. He goes, why don't you go into real estate? It looks easy. Well, 87% of real estate agents are flushed out in the first 36 months. The average real estate agent makes less than $46,000 a year. And when you take in the fees and all of that, they're really only making like 24 a year to be on call all day, every day. But I went and got my license. And inside 24 months, I was in the top 1% of earning parameters in Canada and maintained that for nearly 2 decades. And that leads me up to my next venture was we hit we had a bit of a recession here in Calgary, and it was really uncomfortable and it was really hurting a lot of families. So I started filming these great little videos around real estate, but it was around my kitchen, Kim's kitchen. Why? Because the kitchen's the heart of the home, and I sell homes, not just houses. But those went viral here in Calgary, and I got a TV gig off of it. Then I decided I'd be a TV producer. Like I said, totally unemployable. Next thing you know, I've done 5 seasons of Kim's Kitchen, which is on Shaw TV in Canada, and I think they still run reruns in different smaller markets. I did 2 seasons of Homes and Lifestyles Canada, celebrating local entrepreneurs and small businesses in Calgary, and that was on CTV. So I've done lots of broadcast television. And that brings me to where I am today, and that is the Resilient series. I found out, here's some not so fun stats, especially for women in business. I found out that the average female entrepreneur globally, or in the developed countries, makes an average of like around 50,000, just under 50,000 a year. And these women are working like dogs trying to get that. Like, it's just hard push and grind. And I started really kind of trying to decipher why. And I found that it came down to 3 things: women and their confidence, credibility, and relevancy. And all of a sudden that brought me back to the journey of how I built my real estate around the community, serving the people behind the doors, not just the doors themselves. And that's what I do now. I help women now get credible assets so they can have the confidence and they know they're relevant within their market. And I just help support them get out there, get their micro celebrity on. And that's what I do.
Honestly, it is a lovely story, and it's so incredible to hear your journey. I mean, I've read about it a little bit before, but just to hear you talk it through and just sharing that story, I was completely zoned in. And I think for the audience listening or watching this video as well, they're just all inspired by it. But I think it comes down to what you say. It's those 3 things, you know. And for any one of us listening to this who are running our own businesses, who is a mum, who is going through all of these stages in life, it does come back down to those 3 things. And, you know, the confidence is number 1 in most cases. If you have the confidence to stand up, share who you are, be who you are, very importantly, and just go for things, there's just no way but to have success with that. And I think that's what's been, you know, helping you. That's that kind of push that you've had, even from your mum's crucial advice from a young age. It is lovely to hear. And it's fascinating. It's really, really fascinating, and bring that full circle to you now serving female entrepreneurs and helping them as well. But there's a crucial word there that you used a few times, and this is what we're going to talk about today: community. And this is something that I find is so valuable, because when I talk to my clients, I always talk about a relationship strategy. And it comes back down to communication, building a community, and obviously, you know, being authentic, etc. But how do you become an expert, or how do you become a community expert from your point of view?
Well, first you have to know what your community is. And most of us will have multiple communities. So in real estate, one of the things they do very well is they teach us how to identify our spheres and where those spheres come from. So when you look at your community, you're going to look at your community, your geographical community. You're going to look at your community of interest. You're going to look at your community of faith. You know, you're going to look at all these different communities that you have an opportunity to serve and be a part of. And it really comes down to having consistency, you know, being confident in your approach, being credible in what you offer. And then that last one, collaboration. I think as women have been conditioned from very early age, because there's fewer women on the stage, there's fewer women getting bank loans, there's fewer women, that we think that we have to compete with each other. When I'm going to say, oh, honey, let's, instead of having only 3 women on the stage, why don't we shove a couple dudes off the end and get a couple more women up, right? Instead of fighting each other, right?
Mm.
So finding those collaborative spaces within your community that you can be of service is really, really critical. And people remember the basis of good business is know, like, and trust.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so much easier to do at a community level than try to get through on a social media or digital level. You still need them. Don't get me wrong. We still need this. Like, thank God we had Zoom and all these technology tools when the pandemic happened. And thank God the pandemic happened because it forced us all to use all these tools. It
Yeah.
has like been just amazing. But don't forget the people in your backyard, because those people are your advocates. Those people will be your cheerleaders. You treat them right, they will rally around you and say, "Oh my gosh, have you met Betty? She is the best hairdresser. She's just a few blocks over. You have to go to her." You're not saying you look bad or your hair looks whatever, but you have to go to Betty. That is what a community expert builds. And that builds a long-term career of referrals and residual business. That's
Yeah.
where the money's at.
Yeah. And I love how you talked about collaborations, because I am a huge advocate for collaborations. I always talk about why you should collaborate and not compete. And it just comes back down to, for me as a business coach, there could be 10 other business coaches around me. And I can tell you, hand on heart, sitting amongst those other business coaches, I would not feel an ounce of competition. I would not feel like, oh my gosh, she's here and she's doing this and she's doing something very similar to me. I'm fascinated by the fact that there are other people who is in the same niche as me. The reason I feel like that is because I'm unique. I speak differently. I think differently. My DNA is unique, okay? And because of that, my business is unique. So every single one of those business coaches sitting around me are unique in their own approach, in their own way of doing things. And I think when we talk about collaboration, people immediately think about, oh, I need to go and talk to people and we need to do things together. Yes, but there's so much more to it. And it starts with you as an individual first. How do you approach a collaboration? And how do you feel about competition? Because I think there's a big difference between those two.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of that comes down to confidence. So
Yeah.
the one thing most small businesses do not do, which I did not do initially, which was a big mistake for me, was not to have a mission statement. We see mission statements on Google, Nike, Prudential. And we know what Google wants to do and provide by their mission statement. And that's my big challenge. That's my big war cry to every woman out there. If you want to be a community expert, you must start with a foundational piece of your mission and vision statement. Because when all the bright things and the bling bling and all these things happen, that mission statement brings you back to center and gives you the confidence so you can walk in and you can collaborate.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is we get so distracted. It's like, oh, she's doing this over here and maybe I should be doing that and she's doing that. We're so focused on what other people are doing that we don't grow the confidence and understand our own mission statement. I know exactly who my avatar is. I know exactly who I serve at the Resilient series. And I have 20, 30 men sitting in my inbox who want to be part of my book series, but that's not an option. It's not an option because my entire goal is to grow the largest platform of leaders and thought leaders, speakers, and authors of women. So we can grab more of that, because when you look in the United States, I know that if you Google top paid speakers, it is literally 2/3 male. And it's time that we I get it. I get it. Men tend to gravitate towards men, and 50% of women will gravitate towards a male leader. We got to start shifting that. We have to start, because the equalization of pay and opportunity comes from within supporting each other, and that collaboration and understanding the community of support.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And, I think a lot of people, if I say a lot of people, I might be speaking hypothetically, but when we think about a vision and a mission statement, again, it's one of those things like, oh, we have to do it just because it's one of those business things to do. No, there's a deeper meaning as to why you're doing it. It's a guide. It's basically like a roadmap for yourself to kind of see what it is that you want to achieve, where you're going. So if you do take a diverting route, you still have that roadmap to bring you back on course. And that is why I always find, and call this a business model, call this whatever you want. It's the same principle at the end of the day. It is that one thing that keeps you grounded, but again, it allows you to evolve, knowing where you're going.
Absolutely.
And it gives you the confidence to do so as well.
Well, and it gives you the confidence to say, no, this is not a right fit. And yes, this is a right fit. It's very clear, and you don't get pulled off. So if you're not getting pulled off into the weeds, by a shiny object, or, oh, somebody else is doing something, so I could be missing a few dollars if I don't do this. The thing is if you stick to your guns and your mission statement, then so with the books are only one component of the things I do. It's actually one out of like 6 things we do with our women that come into the Resilient Series program. I am not a publisher. I am a 10th grade graduate from Wichita, Kansas. You don't want me editing your content and running legals on it and plagiarism. I have a partner for that. Could I make more money if I figured it out myself? Yes, maybe. I could save a few bucks, but I'm now taking the eye off the ball of what I do well, and that's finding the pieces within. So I'm not a business coach. I actually work with business coaches. What we do is we find the pieces that are missing within somebody's income streams, and how do we get their message out? What are the pieces that are missing that they need to promote themselves, right? What embeds can we put on their website? A lot of women are afraid to be in front of the camera. They don't like listening to their own voice. They get so lost in the perfection of what they're going to put out that they never make progress. So, you know what? And do you know the definition of perfection? I always love to ask people this.
No, actually.
The definition of perfection is nowhere left to go. I'm sorry, I want to always grow. So I never want to be perfect. I want to be a little messy. I always want to be in progress. And I want to be proud of what I put out, knowing that if it's perfect, there's no opportunity of growth.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, if it's perfect. And let's face it, nothing is perfect. Nothing in life is perfect. So if you're striving for anything that you're doing for it to be perfect, you're going to stay stuck for the rest of your life. The opportunity for growth is always there. It's just how you see it. Now, I want to move a little bit back to just communities, because obviously when we talk about communities, we often, as female entrepreneurs, let's face it, feel that we've got to do it all on our own. We've got to go out there. We've got to make this work. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. It's like, hold on a minute. It's not just you. You've got to think about who can help you. And I think this forms part of that community. So it's not just a community about building a community of potential clients or potential customers. It's also about a community who can help and support you. So what is your take on that kind of community as well?
Oh, absolutely. I believe because we as women are so multifaceted that you need to have 1 or 2 organizations that you can learn from. So here in Alberta, we have different organizations like the AWE. So this is the Alberta Women Entrepreneurs Group. And the reason why you would want to join something like this is so you can learn how to get a bank loan properly. So you can find the people who are moving forward that are complementary to your business that you can maybe help lift each other. That is one community that a lot of women do not partake in part because they're very busy, or in part because they're maybe not confident in what they're doing. They feel like if they go out and talk to people, they feel that imposter syndrome come in. The second one is the volunteerism community. And I'm not saying this that you're going in there to get everybody to sign up for your program or to buy something from you. It is proven that volunteering at least, once a month, it helps decompress your stress. It releases endorphins of happiness, and it expands your sphere of like-minded people. So if you volunteer boxing up boxes of food at the food bank, the other people standing in line with you are going to be people who have that same value. And if people have the same value, guess what? They get to know you, they get to like you, and they get to trust you. And those are the three core things. If you're constantly walking around out of desperation, here's my card, 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 use me, and you're not giving anything back, you will not last long term in business, especially as a woman, because women were viewed as a bit more compassionate, a bit more giving. So when we look at our top speakers, Brene Brown, Mel Robbins, there's this energy and this vibe about them that they care, right? And if you're only walking around asking, I've always had a rule of thumb: give three, I receive. Give three, I receive. So when I do three things outward, I automatically am having these positive, amazing opportunities come back, right?
Mhm.
So that would be the get three. And my 5 points of community, of becoming a community expert, is know your mission, create your vision, identify your communities, collaborate with your B2B opportunities, business to business opportunities, especially if you are if you do not have a placard or a storefront. You want to align with businesses like local coffee shops, salons, things like that, and see how you can be of service to them, spread their message, spread their initiative. And then the last one is volunteerism. Those 5 things will, if you do them authentically and you be yourself, don't try and be the person that you think you're competing with. Don't try and add something that you think that you should have in your kit or your toolbox of offerings. But be yourself, be true to yourself. I have so many people that keep going, Kim, you should have a full coaching program and one-on-one. I don't do that. I can't do that because, again, I don't have the I don't have a lot of time, and I don't have the innate ability like to document and do a lot of the follow through. I do monthly accountability meetings with my top sphere that I work with, that are going through our entire media building platform, from videoing their courses to everything else. And then I'm available through, the standards, Clubhouse, IG. I'm available those spaces. But don't be afraid to not do something for fear that you're not going to have that money. And I think women get really caught up thinking they have to do everything. So those are my 5 key things for becoming a identified community expert, because you get all that rocking and rolling and you're of service. Next thing you know, you're on the noon hour news. Like, I have been on the noon news to talk about how to do a community garage sale, garage sales. But what's funny is garage sales lead to real estate. It is the home. And it's one of the things that I did 20 years of, community garage sale hosting. But yeah, those are my 5. So
Yes. No,
jump
I
in
love
on
it.
anytime.
I love it. As you were saying that, you were talking about the 5 things. And I'm like, you know what? It comes back so holistically to the mindset as well. Let's face it, everything is mindset. But it comes back so holistically to the mindset about everything that you do, every action that you take needs to be an inspired action. And when I talk about inspired action, for anybody who wants to know, the inspired action is anything that you are going to do it needs to excite you. It's going to be that thing that you just can't wait to get it, to work on it. You just can't wait to sit in front of your computer and write that piece of content. You can't wait to go out there and meet this new client for the first time and take them through this process. Making a phone call to somebody you haven't spoken to in ages. You're so looking forward to doing that. That is inspired action. It's things that you really look forward to. So coming back to these 5 things, if you look at each and every one of those, creating a mission and a vision, you've got to be inspired to do it, okay? You've got to be excited to do it, because that's going to be your kind of foundation for where it is that you're going. Your community sphere, find out where it is, who they are, get interactive with them, start engaging, build that relationship. Then from there, obviously you get to collaborate with people. Oh my gosh, I can just talk about collaborations on its own for a whole day. And then I love the 5th one that you brought in about volunteering. Who wouldn't want to volunteer? I mean, that is just a gift that we all have that we can use, but we don't use it. It's a gift that we can use ourselves in order to get excited, to feel amazing about doing something incredible for other people. But we don't
Absolutely.
use it.
Revenue creation is you have to have a point of purpose. Otherwise you will roll back into pain. And I understand there will be somebody who listens to this, and I get this, that their purpose is to make the next dollar so they can buy food to put on the table to feed their kid. I get that. I too. I have been there. I have been homeless. I have been terrified as to how to take care of my son. I've had no money for diapers when my son was a baby. I had to pick up and move in the middle of the night across 4 states all on my own with $300. And I prayed the entire way. I get that. However, I'm going to encourage you to move the purpose from making a next dollar so you can feed your child, put the roof over your head, to making the purpose about nourishing your family. So that purpose can grow as your revenue grows. If you only have the purpose of making enough money to get through this month, what will happen is you'll get that amount of money, you'll stagnate out, and you'll roll back into that teeter-totter of pain. So, and you know what? I want to make something very clear. This is not easy. Life is not easy. Making your own wealth is not easy. It comes with a lot of pain, a lot of growing pains, a lot of what the heck did I just do? And I want everybody to know that I commend any woman who steps out from behind her own fear or her own feeling of imposter syndrome and steps into her space and claims it. I have absolute mad respect for each and every one, because it's not easy. And whoever coined the term passive income ought to be slapped, because there is no such thing as true passive income, because you're always maintaining your platforms. You're always coming up, but there's passion income. And this is actually a term out there. Look it up, read up on it. And we've been blessed with a real shift in all of our technology where this is a real thing. And I do believe I have yet to meet a woman that doesn't have a zone of genius, that something I would actually pay for. And you know, there's so many opportunities out there, but your community can be your greatest advocate and your safety net to build.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I couldn't have put it better myself. I think you just engulfed it all, and you just beautifully kind of wrapped up this present for us with a big bow. A pink bow, may I add. Oh, Kim, this is absolutely amazing. And I hope everybody listening to this or watching this video is really taking away a lot of golden nuggets, because there's so much in here that you've shared. But I think equally, it just comes back down to who you are as an individual, finding out what it is that you want to achieve, what is it that you're passionate about. And I love that term, passion income, because if you have that one thing that you're doing that you're so passionate about it and you're getting paid for it at the same time, it's a no-brainer. And I know that there are women out there who's like, but I'm still trying to figure out what I'm passionate in. That's okay. Okay. It's a journey. Start off with one tiny little thing that you're passionate with now, that you feel like, I can make this work. And that's going to grow. It's going to evolve. And then take these 5 things that Kim has shared here with you today. Bring that on board. Make that part of your business entity, of your business foundation. And you'll be so surprised. Like she said, the opportunities that will come your way is incredible. But you just have to do it from a point of enjoyment, inspired action, and don't be attached to the outcome, but enjoy the opportunities that do come. And then when they do come, grab them. Because I always have a saying, I say, when an opportunity comes your way, you have to take it. Because if you say no once, it could be gone forever. You can always say yes. And then if it's still not what you were looking for, then you can say no, but never say no from the beginning.
I had a speaker on one of our stages, and I just about died laughing when she said that. She closed out her talk and she said, now, I challenge each and every one of you for the next 6 months, every opportunity that comes your way, you say yes, as long as it's legal or moral. And that's up to you to choose. This is, a woman, same age bracket as myself, second half of our century mark. And I literally, you have 3 kids. Sometimes it's like, you don't have to jump on the trampoline to pee yourself a little. This woman totally shocked me. She was awesome. So, and she's this is a woman who is in like accounting and finance. So everything's very dry and to the point. And she's very literal. And then she says that, I'm going, you're awesome.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. Oh, Kim, okay, hold on. Before we say goodbye to everyone, you've got an amazing freebie for everyone. And I think this is so incredible what you're offering. But before I kind of mess it up, why don't I hand over to you so you can share it with everybody? And then for those of you listening, take some notes, because I'm going to put the details in the show notes so you can see there how you can get your hands on this freebie. So Kim, take it away.
Awesome. Specifically for your group and such, we've gone and set up resilientgift.com. And on there, you go in there and you can sign up for 6 months free in our membership. Now, the membership includes monthly magazine. It includes, and we invite amazing coaches and amazing voices like you to contribute to this magazine. This isn't just me talking. This is women from all walks of life giving all sorts of advice. We also have in there any of the book launches we do. We also do a live virtual summit where those authors are speaking, and you get that for free. We'll have, the 5 key steps to community becoming a community expert. We have actually a free webinar that is dropping shortly into that membership. So totally free. So more and more. And then our past speakers, we actually rotate through each month. We'll actually kind of bring in different, video content from different speakers. And then there's just so much that goes on in that membership. And I just want everybody to come in and take advantage of the free 6 months, learn everything you can, join us at the book launches or any of the events that I'm going to be at in the States. And yeah, lots on the go. I just want to make sure everybody is as supported as they can be.
Oh, that's amazing. And you know what? I think to join a 6 month free membership like that, just to literally grab as much as you can. Why not? It's like a kid being in a candy store and you say everything is free. Take as much as you want and as much as you can carry. So I think, just having that and making that available to everyone is really so generous. And thank you so much. So for those of you listening, I mean, if you just loved what Kim has shared here today, times that times 10 almost, go into the membership, go and have a look, find the right things that are aligned with you, go through it, enjoy it. Take this opportunity to grow yourself. Remember, having a business is not just about running this little entity that's officially going to make you money. Growing your personal, hold on, let me rephrase that. Growing yourself personally, that personal development, you've got to go through it. You have to learn how to grow and you have to take it on so that your business can grow. So take advantage of this opportunity. I'm sure these don't come along quite often. So again, thank you, Kim. I really appreciate your time, for being here, for sharing your story, and just for your knowledge and expertise, and just helping so many incredible women as well. So thank you very much.
Oh, I am honored, and thank you for having me.